Hello, gorgeous heartbeat, and welcome to Heartbeats Harbor. I'm your host, Brianna Hosack, and I'm here to shine the light on the shadow path we walk as heartbeat women. Women rising into leadership roles as lightworkers, changemakers, world shakers, or as I call us, heartbeats, do not have an easy path to walk. It often feels lonely, painful, and unique, but I'm here to help you see how very not alone you are, and how beautiful the shadows surrounding you actually are when you love and integrate them on your healing journey. I create spaces and opportunities for women to step into deeper self-awareness, self-acceptance, and personal healing, community and sacred circles, as well as leadership of themselves, their families, their communities, and beyond. My business and my life is and always will be about massive change in the ways things are done around the world. I believe it's a big part of my purpose on this planet to be a voice for those who don't have one, a safe harbor for those who need one, and a beacon of light to inspire a better way. None of this is easy. I've learned that big impact requires bold action and delusional levels of confidence, as well as a ton of shadow work. If you love what you hear on this podcast and you want to be part of the growing, supportive online village of Heartbeats Harbor, make sure you join my Facebook group, which is linked below in the show notes. Now, I can't wait to get started, so let's turn on the lights. Hey, heartbeats. Welcome back to another episode of the Heartbeats Harbor podcast. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit about signs and synchronicities. So, if any of you listen to my Suspending Disbelief podcast, I talk about the RAS, the Reticular Activating System, which is a part of our brain. A lot of people will call it the monkey mind, the ego. It's the part of our brain that tries to keep us safe. And it does that by keeping us to things that we know, things that we understand, even if they're really, really crappy. And I realized the other day that, I was thinking about it. I never used to see, quote unquote, angel numbers or just so many signs and synchronicities as I see now. And it's funny to me because when I first started really noticing them, I was noticing like, one every couple of weeks, and it was like, oh, it was incredible. And then it was like one every couple of days, and it was just like, wow, these are happening a lot. And then it started being like every single day, no matter what, without fail, there was always these signs. And it's so funny. I just saw 111 on my phone. Like I consistently see these things all the time now. And there's a reason why. And that reason is because as we hit a spiritual awakening, or as we are working on our personal development or our spiritual development, we are literally retraining our RAS, Reticular Activating System, to find things that send us positive proof instead of negative proof. So the RAS is consistently looking for ways to keep us safe. And the way that it does this is by searching for proof of more of the same. Okay, so if you are struggling all the time, you're in poverty, you are really, really having a hard time with your finances, let's say, like just for example, this piece of your brain will literally work all day, every day to prove to you that that's where you want to be, that is all of the options that are available to you, that there is no other way, that like, and that sounds like, how is that protecting me? And exactly, it is actually from our caveman days. So this is why we call this the monkey mind or the caveman brain. It is trying to keep us safe from going outside of the cave and getting eaten by a lion. Okay. It's trying to keep us safe from trying some new plant that we found as food that might poison us and kill us, right? It is not allowing us to expand our horizons and learn and grow. So we have to actively work against it. So how did humans develop past that caveman state? Well, they had to work against it. And this is obviously before they had words to call it or any of that, but they had to explore outside of the bounds of what they knew. They had to test the limits. They had to push past the norm and what they were used to and try new things. And our reticular activating system does not like it when we do that. So it literally will keep you in poverty to keep you in what it knows, in what it understands, and in what you're used to, because that is what it classifies as quote unquote safe. Even if technically that poverty is putting you out of safety, it's putting you in harm's way. It is maybe making you lose the roof over your head, or you don't have enough food to eat, or you can't keep the lights on, or you can't, you know, keep your internet going so that you are able to work if you have an online business, or, you know, all of these things. It can literally put you on this path to destruction, right? To like self-destruct if you're not aware of it and if you're not retraining it. So when you have a consistent pattern, for example, like poverty, like a struggle financially, you actively need to retrain your reticular activating system to look for other things. So what you start noticing is like, I found a penny on the ground. I found a dime. I found a nickel. Like, yay, amazing, abundance. I found this thing. It's amazing. It's wonderful. And it might feel even a little bit sarcastic at first, but start noticing it and start acknowledging it and start pointing it out to yourself, and little pieces at a time, right? And this is where people talk about, if you want to start bringing more wealth into your life, start a gratitude practice. Start focusing on what you're grateful for that you already have. Maybe it's, you know, a dining room table set that you don't love, but you are so grateful that you have it. You have something to sit at, eat your food, be around with your family, and have these dinner time conversations, or, you know, whatever the case may be. But you are acknowledging the wealth that you already do have. Even if you are struggling to put food on the table, you have wealth around you in some way, shape, or form. So it's finding what that is and being grateful for it, drawing the attention of your reticular activating system to the positives, to how good you feel in any areas possible, to the abundance that you have in any way, shape, or form possible. And when we do that, we are retraining that piece of our mind. Now, back to the original focus here. As you step onto a spiritual path, or into like a spiritual awakening, or even for those of you who aren't necessarily, you know, you wouldn't classify yourself as a spiritualist, or anything like that, or who aren't into spirituality, quote unquote, you can still sort of stumble upon this path. You might think angel numbers still. You might think just coincidences, like, how does this happen? That's so similar to this other thing that happened. Or, you know, I've gotten the same message from 3 different people. How does that happen? You know, or it's the same as like, you decide you want to buy this certain color of car because you don't see it a lot and you want to be unique. And then all of a sudden you buy it and you see like 500 of other of that same color of car. This is why, because you are retraining your brain to see the things that you want to see more of. And it's so interesting. Like I've had these conversations recently with clients where it's like, I thought that I was following what was aligned, and here are all the things that proved it to me. And I look at those things and I go, I see something different than you saw. And that's because of the different ways that our brains are trained, the different things that our brains are trained to look for. And it is a process for us all. And like anything else, I don't think that we necessarily perfect it. It's a matter of, we choose to keep trying. We keep on pivoting a little bit. We keep on redirecting our minds when we are off. So if you have something happen where you're like, I thought I was following what was aligned and then it crashed and burned. If you look backwards now, if you turn and reflect on before, you can see the signs that you missed, the pieces that you know, maybe misread, or whatever. And it's not to beat yourself up over what you missed. It's to notice, look what my brain was doing, right? Because It's literally your reticular activating system kicking in to keep you what it believes is safe, even though you're trying to expand and grow and learn and improve your life. It is trying to keep you safe. So I realized that this was my thought. It was just this one little thought that sparked this episode, right? It was like, I see an insane level of signs and synchronicities these days. I see almost every angel number that possibly exists. Every time on the clock that could possibly be an angel number, I happen to glance at it at that time. I see, I send voice memos to clients and I look at it after I hit send and it's like, oh, it ended up being an angel number. Or the synchronicities are the biggest one now. It's, the angel numbers got so laughable at a certain point that they stopped being as exciting for me because it was just like, it's constant, it's ridiculous, it's constant, I'm moving on. And it's not that, I mean, I still notice them, I still see them, but they have less of a massive impact on me now each time that they happen because they happen almost too much. So it started being other things, and it's things like this one was absolutely ridiculous. So like a year and a half ago, I had one friend mention, like, she was passing on a message from my guides and she was like, something about a chicken. I don't even know what that's about. Okay. It ended up solving a big issue for me. And I had no idea when she first said the word chicken. I was like, what does that have to do with anything? But we ended up following the breadcrumbs to find the answer to that. And it solved a big problem for me. And then just recently, again, a totally different person who has never probably even had a conversation with that first person said the same thing and was like, I'm getting a message about chickens and I don't know what that is. And I was like, what? Again? Chickens? How is this possible? And it was the same. It was this massive insight and made a huge difference for me. And learning to trust even those ridiculous sounding things, like, what does the word chicken as a message tell me? And obviously it has a lot to do with the context, like anything else that was going on around it, or, whatever. But it's in figuring that out, I was able to reveal a massive thing that I needed to uncover and deal with and heal and all of that. So what I'm saying now is, it's like my guides have gotten to the point where they're like, we got to get creative. We got to come up with something that's really going to stand out. Because this lady's starting to see so many that she's not even paying attention to them anymore because there's too many of them, and like, they're just not standing out enough to really grab my attention and make me go, what is it that I'm seeing a sign for? Because if I did that, I would literally be doing that all day long, every day. I would have no time for anything else. So it's like they had to pick something really ridiculous to stand out. And now all of a sudden, ever since this lady said this thing about chickens, well, now this sign has come up like 3 separate times since then. And it has like connected the dots between one thing and another and another. And this is why it brought it up for me. So it was like, not only do I see them constantly, but why? Like, why is it that I'm even seeing this ridiculous of a synchronicity over and over and over again? And this is why, is because I have retrained my reticular activating system to notice the signs and synchronicities instead of pointing out to me how hard everything needs to be, or the difficulties, or the path that is quote unquote safe, that I'm comfortable with. It's that comfortable discomfort, right? I have, and it really rang true for me that I have successfully retrained my brain for this. Now, that does not mean that my RAS never tells me the wrong thing. And as I learn and grow, it is still going to be looking for things at the level that I've been at. So even if my level that I've been at is, miles and miles beyond where I started, it's still not where I'm going. And so it's a constant thing, having to retrain our RAS to look for what we want to see and what we're trying to manifest and all of that. And I thought it was such an interesting perspective. It's a little perspective shift of, I almost thought before that signs and synchronicities meant something about me. Like it was like I had become worthy of them or something. And that's not true. So if you're feeling that, that is inaccurate. I'm just going to say that right there. All of us are worthy of these signs and synchronicities and that kind of alignment in our lives. And all it is if you're not seeing them all the time, if you're not consistently receiving signs and synchronicities in your life that help you to know that you're on track, what it is you need to retrain your reticular activating system and take the time, like really, and a daily reflecting practice is really good at this. Just stopping and looking back at like what happened, what did I miss, what could I have noticed that now I see clearly, because we always say hindsight is 2020. We say that for a reason, and it's because when you look back, you are able to see. But if you don't intentionally look back, if you don't reflect on it and notice, then you don't know what to retrain your RAS about. So take that time every day, reflect on your day, and actively throughout your day, especially if you are trying to intentionally manifest, okay? If you are trying to improve your life, learn, grow, make more money, whatever specific thing it is that you are trying to bring into your life, take the time, especially when you're making decisions, when you are looking around you at all the reasons why for something. If you're like, well, I'm going to make a pros and cons list for something. Well, be very conscious of, is this my reticular activating system trying to keep me safe? Or is this, it's a little stretchy, right? Because we can get into, it feels scary when we want to stretch into something new. And it's important though that we stretch. Like if that caveman had never stepped outside the cave, or if that caveman had never tried new foods, or if that caveman had never explored beyond their own territory to find more people and expand their village, and all of these things. I mean, we could go on forever. Human evolution has happened because we stretch beyond our limits. And the only way to grow and learn and have more than where you are now is to stretch beyond those limits, which means that you have to learn how to retrain your RAS. And this is not something you need to go to school for. It's something you need to practice. It's something you need to do intentionally every single day, as much as you possibly can, whenever you can make yourself be conscious of it and be intentional about it, and teach yourself to stretch and grow, and that it's safe. And it can be small baby steps or it can be big leaps, but it is safe and you can handle it. And teaching your mind, looking for the proof of that. And you can do this by looking at the past, because you can go, well, look at there. I did something that stretched me, that was a little scary, but I succeeded. And just reminding yourself of that kind of stuff helps you to retrain your reticular activating system so that it's not holding you back. So if you want to have a lot more straightforward, clear-cut signs and synchronicities in your life, the way to get there is to retrain your reticular activating system. And I keep on saying it in full because I had a couple of conversations recently where people were like, RAS, what? And I'm like, I talk about it all the time, but I guess I call it the RAS all the time. So people just don't know what I'm talking about. So um, I'm repeating it in full so that people hear it lots more. But take the time for that. Be intentional about it. This is going to have a huge impact on getting through those shadow pieces of your path, those pieces that you're just really uncertain on and you don't know how to grow through and you're uncomfortable in. Just know that that is your reticular activating system fighting to keep you safe. And it's doing it because it loves you. And you can tell it, it's okay. I've got this. I'm in control. You can go to bed, or, tuck them away in a closet. And, it is there to keep us safe to an extent. We still need it. We still need to, we don't want to test our limits, like putting our hand on a hot burner or, running at speeding cars or whatever. Like it's there for a reason and to keep us safe. And we do want it there, keeping us within reason, keeping us aware of actual risk. But too often we allow it to take way too much control and make us believe that there is endless risk when it's really not as scary as we believe. And I mean, this can apply all the way down to something as simple as the laundry. And here we go again. I'm back to laundry. But you guys, you can look at a mountain of laundry that has to be folded and be dreading it. And the way to retrain your RAS on this one is like, I'm just going to do 5 minutes. And then you see the dent that 5 minutes made, and you realize this is doable and it's something that I can continue to do. And you break it down into smaller pieces, and you train yourself to believe that it is safe and you are capable of accomplishing this monumental task, which does feel monumental, even still to me. When I look at a giant pile of laundry to fold, it is like, I'm so overwhelmed, but I have to start. And every time when I train myself to start, it gets easier and easier and easier. And I get through that task and I'm like, oh, that wasn't so bad, right? That is retraining your reticular activating system. So if this is a new concept to you, don't feel like you have this big monumental task of learning how to do something new. You do this every day. Every day that you accomplish something, you do this because you are pushing through, getting things done. You are perfectly capable of retraining your reticular activating system. So just try to get more intentional around it as often as you can be cognizant of it. There's no hard and fast rule of you have to do it this much for this much time every day, like none of that. That's putting way too much pressure on ourselves. And it actually is giving your RAS a solid reason why you can't succeed. And that's because nobody is going to maintain some sort of rigorous program like that. So just try to be more cognizant, try to look at it, try to be aware, and start looking for those signs and synchronicities. Start paying attention for them so that you can prove to your RAS that it is safe, so that it will allow you to move forward and grow and expand and live the life of your dreams and become who you want to become. So hopefully that was helpful for you today, and I will talk to you all in the next episode.
Thank you so much for being here with me today. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you subscribe to be notified of new episodes. If you really love it here and want to help spread the light, please take a moment to rate the show and leave a review. They help so much. If you love listening and want to be part of the interactive and incredible online community we're growing, make sure you click the link in the description box and join the Facebook group. I promise you it is not like other groups you've been in. Hope to meet you there soon, and I'll be talking to you next week, sending you all my love from my heartbeat to yours.